Today you join us underneath the Hilux as I attempt to show you how to install extended diff breathers. Just like our snorkel install video, this extended diff breather video applies to pretty much every vehicle. It is pretty much the same process. The kits might be different, but you're trying to accomplish the same goal. On the Hilux, we're replacing the little one-way valves with these push fittings, which screw directly into the diff, and then we extend them with the supplied tubing. Now you can get kits off eBay. ARB do a kit as well, which has got a more complicated filtering system. I got this kit off of the Hilux Pickups Owners Club forum website. And there's a guy in there that sells them, and any proceeds goes to charity. So it looks like a good kit. It comes with everything you need, all the instructions. So if you've got a Hilux, have a look on there, see if you can pick up a kit for this. First thing you need to do is squeeze yourself underneath the vehicle. Obviously, if you've got ramps or even access to a lift, this makes this job a little bit easier, but I don't. So you'll be seeing it in the hardest way to do it. But first thing you need to do is locate your original breathers. On the rear diff, it's relatively easy to do. This little fella up here, that's the one-way valve there. A little bit hard to see, but all that does is when there's pressure inside of the diff, it pops open to allow the pressure to escape, and then closes again to stop any mud, dirt, crap, water getting in. Problem is, if it becomes negative pressure in here, the valve closes and then starts sucking in from your axle seals, which is the next weakest point. So what we're trying to do here is eliminate that negative pressure by allowing it to constantly breathe and never actually build up any pressure inside this case from obviously the differential heating up and down. So, rear one, relatively easy to find. However, front one, not so much. It's somewhere in here. So what you need to do, remove this bash plate and have a look. Turns out the front diff is already extended from the factory up into the engine bay, and it's... Oh, where was it again? Lost it now. Down there. So you don't actually need to extend it from the diff itself. However, you can extend it from here upwards if you wish, but you are protected up into the engine bay for the front diff. So what I've done is now I've found which pipe the original diff breather is. I pulled out the old one-way valve, which is just that little barb there, and that little metal cap, which you can just see. That's how it works. Kind of goes up and down like that. And I found that the screwed-in fitting piece fits in there quite nicely. And with a bit of a cable tie, just to make sure there's a little bit of pressure on it, I can now plug in my pipe, and that will sit in the original hose clip there, and we can carry on with the install. Right, now I've cut my hose to length, routed it along the back of the firewall there, and into a T-piece. Now these fittings literally just push the hose into it, and they self-grab, self-seal. To get these back out again, you push that little yellow clip down while pulling the pipe out. Now all we need to do is route the rear diff up into there, put it into that T-piece, and then rotate it up to the snorkel head. Not too bad. Right, for the rear diff, it's this little plug here. Right, like that. So first thing you need to do is clean around the plug, which I've already done, because you don't, once you've undone this, you don't want any dirt or anything which is accumulated around here to fall into your diff case. And it's actually a good point to, if you're due for a diff oil change, is do it after you've done this, to get rid of anything that might have dropped in. So I'm going to try and film this and undo it at the same time, using a 14mm spanner. It doesn't take much to undo it. Tiny bit of a tight squeeze to get in there, but just keep on flipping over the spanner. Eventually it will come out finger tight. That's your one-way valve, and you now want to replace it with something similar to this, whatever your kit has. And see, it's already been thread seal taped, so no need to actually put any extra sealant or anything on this. And you just basically screw it straight back in. So there's my little fitting, screwed in there now. And now all we have to do is push in our tube and route it to the front to join it to our T-piece, and then we'll extend that T-piece up to the snorkel. When picking a route to take, keep in mind that obviously this axle will move depending on your articulation, so you don't want it to be tight, you want to leave a loop. And if you look at original pipework here, like this brake line, you'll see how much slack roughly you need. Obviously a little bit more slack if you've got a lift kit or something like that, but by that point you'd have extended brake lines anyway, so you'd have an idea. But for standard suspension, which is what this is, you're looking something around about that kind of loop. Obviously a little bit bigger is not that much of a problem, better to be safe than sorry type job. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this cabling here, which then goes around back to there, and then fold all the way that down to the front. Right, so that's come from the front diff, that's come all the way from the back and into this T-piece here, and then what's left of it, the hose pipe stuff, I've routed it along there, and it tucks quite nicely in here, which comes out near the hinge. Now I've tested it, and the hinge only comes down to there, so the actual moving parts are here. So as long as you keep the hose on this side, it's actually quite a nice place to pop the hose up. And it's gone up and then around the back of my bracket there, and I've just looped it back down, so there's no chance of any rainwater or anything getting into it, and if it does splash up, gravity will make it fall back down again. And that's pretty much it. So now the discs are protected. Only took me about an hour, and that was with figuring out where the breather valve on the front diff was. So well worth doing. And yeah, extended diff breathers.